Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nerden here once again, and into one of many videos dropping today. I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on Legend of the Sea Devils, which was today's episode that dropped, and it was nice for, to finally have some new Doctor Who content, because the last bit of new Doctor Who content was the New Year's Day special, Eve of the Daleks. But yes, finally today we have some new Doctor Who content that sees the return of the Sea Devils, which was an episode I wasn't really hyped for originally. Like, I love the Sea Devils, but to me, going into it, I was expecting, just a standalone episode with a surprise twist at the end. And whilst it didn't really play out like that, I thought it was very interesting nonetheless. And it was really good to see the introduction of the Sea Devils, because, we haven't seen them in so long. We haven't seen them since the 5th Doctor story, Warriors of the Deep, because, their cousins, the Silurians, have made a reappearance in Modern Who, and it was nice to see them come back. It really was, such a privilege to see on screen once again. And as I mentioned in my initial reaction, it was really well done, and I do feel like Chris Chibnall has this supernatural ability to do classic monsters just really well. Like, he reinvented the Daleks. The Daleks were really well in all the specials that he's done. The Cybermen as well were menacing once again. I didn't really feel that Cyberman fatigue as I felt during the Stephen Moffat era, and the Master was absolutely fantastic and such a menacing villain. The Judoon were pretty well as well for, the Judoon, and then we finally got the Sea Devils, which was wow. And also, special mention the Sontarans, I forgot about them. But anyway, let's get into my thoughts of the actual episode. Now, I thought the opening of the episode was a little bit sloppy. The introduction to the Sea Devils were a little bit, it felt a little bit rushed, in my opinion. And I felt like, they could have done a little bit more with that, trying to, do a big reveal would have probably been better than what we got. Just breaking a statue, a Sea Devil comes out that was supposedly trapped, and I wish that we got to see more of the flashback scenes as well. We've seen the Sea Devil getting frozen, but we didn't. But still, and I do feel like throughout the entire episode that we didn't see too much of the Sea Devils, even though they were here and around in the background. They were there for, the fight scenes and stuff, and for the exposition dialogue, but we didn't really see them around too much. And this episode as well was very fast-paced. And I thought that, okay, yeah, it was kind of to be expected with a runtime. 50 minutes is standard runtime for a Doctor Who episode, and it had a lot to go through. And I just felt that, personally, they could have done a little bit better in terms of the pacing of the plot, personally. But the cast were absolutely fantastic. I was really engaged with the characters as well. I was very interested in the historical context of the episode as well, and just to see the ship battles as well. And it was really nice to kind of get immersed into that setting, because I don't really get that with historical episodes. For me personally, I struggle to get immersed into the setting a lot of the time, but for this episode, I did really get into the episode, and obviously its setting, which in itself is a character. But yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is the subplot of the episode, which is Thasmin, and I don't want to see this be a wrap-up of that little tease that was at the end of Eve of the Daleks. I might do a separate video on my thoughts on Thasmin, but considering that there's one episode left, and they keep on, it feels like, it was confirmed that this is gonna be, or this was a last-minute decision to include a fan ship, basically, with the Doctor and Yasmin Khan, and it just doesn't really fit in with the episode, in my opinion, because we're already given the impression that a lot of time has passed since Eve of the Daleks, and it feels like their relationship hasn't moved forwards by any means whatsoever. And then we suddenly see there's a little bit of development with the Doctor, and it does kind of seem hypocritical as well, because obviously the Doctor does end up referencing Ruba Song, the Doctor's wife, and the way that she speaks about Yasmin, but then takes it back and tries to say that she won't get with Yaz because of the shortage of time that she's got left and stuff like that, kind of feels a little bit hypocritical, because the Doctor got involved with Rose and River Song and Queen Elizabeth, etc. And I just feel like if this is closure to that little storyline that was set up, then I felt like it pretty much was a waste of time. And if it does continue into the centenary special, I think it should be done correctly and developed properly. But with one episode left, and with it being introduced in Eve of the Daleks right at the end, I just don't know how they are going to be able to deliver a romantic storyline faithfully and do representation thoroughly and correctly, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, the subplot of Thasmin did feel a little bit out of place, in my opinion. But hopefully, the centenary special does a better job if it does pick it up. But yeah, my overall thoughts of this episode, just to summarise it, because there's not really a lot to say, but it was really good to see the Sea Devils come back. I just wish that we saw more of them, if I'm being completely honest, or saw more of them doing stuff. It just felt they were background characters a lot, or just there for the action sequences or exposition. And yeah, it felt like a little bit of a waste compared to what we got back in the classic episodes with them. But yeah, overall I'll probably give this episode a 7 out of 10. It was a little bit all over the place, and as well I thought the opening sequence was a little bit choppy, but the CGI was pretty good as well. I've always said that about Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who episodes, the CGI is on point. But yeah, in terms of story, I felt it was a little bit rushed, and the pacing was a little bit all over the place. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up this video here. If you are new around here, be sure to subscribe for more nerdy content. And tomorrow, I will be doing my review of the first episode of Doctor Who Redacted, which is the audio spin-off that has literally just dropped today. So I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for all support, and goodbye for now.